Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Fetri Agata, NPM 1916041057. Gender equality. Gender equality is one of the many problems to exist in Indonesia. Gender equality is an issue where the outcome is still questionable. Gender equality is used as an invisible wall that becomes a barrier at social and work levels. There is case that is naturally and formed in society based on the understanding of its society. Men are considered to have a special position which is much higher than a woman. There are a lot of real cases, both past and present. Gender equality seems to be scarce for countries around the world, including in Indonesia. Cases of harassment or violence far more often attack women instead of men. If it took LGBT are rampant. Why is that? Women were considered weak and did not have the ability to resist. This reason dominates the occurrence of harassment or violence. Government is said to have issued opinions how they are trying to do their best to promote gender equality between men and women. The government is said to have issued so many policies with the aim of strengthening the wall of protection for women. After hearing these things, there will be many more questions that arise. One of which is like, was the police effective, or is the police implementing the right target, or also whether the policies do not deviate from the main objective. I think we cannot get the answer to this question simple by we're listening to the argument from government, or we're reading a theory. There must be concrete evidence. There must be concrete evidence that explain this. Like the information I received from gppm.com, I will explain the cases of violence against women are still very high. This can be seen for the data released by Commission for the Protection of Women in 2019 and launched this year to coincide with International Women's Day in March. The data show that there were 431,178 cases of violence against women report, an increase of 6% from the previous year of 406,178 case. This shows that in the private realm there were 2,988 report cases of sexual violence, 31%, while in the public or community sphere that was 64% of violence against women as sexual violence. Meanwhile, the total research of online gender-based violence were 3,057 cases. during January until May in all domains. This number is more than the total report in 2019, which was 2,081 cases. The most common type of sexual violence in this area is the threat of spreading pornographic photo or video or video for revenge porn, 81 reports. Since the risk of online activity during this pandemic, gender-based violence has informed of violence against women is a consequence of the unequal power relation between men and women, where women are placed as subordinate to men. And meanwhile, according to Reg WPF Indonesia, basically the violence that occurs has a wider scope, including violence against women and men, sexual minority whose identity is gender non-conforming, which is often rooted in gender inequality and norms that encourage violence. Simple acts of violence based on certain gender and/or sexual assumption. In Indonesia, which is still thick with a patriarchal culture, when generally have control and power over other family members. It is also a social construction that is attached to patriarchal culture that perpetuates gender-based of violence. In addition, the absence of gender equality can also be felt in the realm of work. Data from the International Labour Organization or ILO in 2018 show that only half of Indonesia's female population has a job and the number has never increased. Meanwhile, for men, the employment rate reached almost 80% of the population. The stigma attached to women, such as a woman being weaker as workers than men, is one reason why companies are reluctant to employ them. In addition, women are considered only a second person, which makes women workers more often traded arbitrarily. In many companies, it is difficult for women workers to get menstrual leave, which is already protected in the Manpower Act number 30 of 2003. Permit for menstrual leave can only be realized when a doctor certificate is issued by a Fetri clinic or clinic level 1. They are listed on the Social Security Administration agency card. This complicated process has forced women workers to choose the underpaying while working. Many companies also neglect to ensure the safety of female workers. As a result, they are vulnerable to sexual harassment and violence, which means that women workers do not get justice in terms of their work. The policies that are created must really be in accordance with the circumstances and have thought carefully about how how they will be implemented or the impact that will be caused. The policies that are created must really have a clear end goal and think about all elements of society. In addition, in its creation, the, the police must be thoroughly systematic. In accordance with the explanation in the journal on how the policy making shall be evidence-based, a reflection of rationality and other value. Evidence policy making means that policy maker must be able to analyze cases that are happening, think critically about the main root of the exciting problem, how the process in the file, how big the problem has been, then how the impact has been on the victim. Based on the fact, I think the policies are able to get the best results because they are directly related to the fact that occurred in the file. Then the final discussion making is also based on scientific evidence. An approach assumes the scientific evidence is value-free and the best at providing service to society. Then, also explain about police ecosystem science, holistic approach. In practice, the science police ecosystem use policy makers to select opinions from the wider community. The opinions they give will actually be used in considering the final discussions about the policy to be made. The questions asked can include where, when, why, who, and how. The sixth question explained on that may at first seems like a simple problem. For example, looking at the case of gender-based violence that occurs, we can raise the following questions is number 1. Where did the violence occur? 2. When did the violence occur? 3. Why did violence occur? 4. Does this violence occur frequently? 5. Who was the perpetrator of the violence? And the last, how can the existing law prevent a deterrent effect for the perpetrator of the violence? I think gathering the facts in the file will help police maker determine what step they should take, the extent to which the police must play its function and role properly. Thus, making new policies or revising old policies can provide a new atmosphere in the government experiment to fight for gender equality. Policies made in accordance with the circumstances that occur increase confidence in the positive impact generated by the police, and it's hope that it will bring fresh air the gender equality between people in Indonesia. Women can get justice and men can be partner in saving this justice. This all of me. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.